Good afternoon. Hope you're all well. One of the videos that my marketing team has asked me to do is a little bit about my property journey to date. And I was trying to think about what to tell you about it, and I didn't know how to structure it, so I thought I would just run you through it in a chronological fashion. It's been a great journey. It's been a whirlwind. I think it's a Thomas Edison quote about time passing slowly and quickly depending on what you're doing, and I think that's couldn't be more true. I think there has been times when things have been really, really slow, and I've kind of wanted to get out of that position. And there's been times where I look back now and I think, I feel like it was just yesterday that I was 26 and starting in property. So I thought I would talk to you guys and tell you what it's all about. So I started my property investment journey probably in the most important part of it, I should say, is probably in 2013 when I met my then girlfriend, then friend, now wife, in conversation and stuff. I then went traveling for a little bit, and unfortunately I got a call from my brother whilst I was in South America. I was in Colombia at the time, and he said, "You've got to come home, your mum's had a heart attack, and we need you here." So I obviously came straight home, and because I didn't have a job because I'd been traveling, I was at home and I was kind of thinking, well, what should I do? I didn't know how long I was going to be there. I did eventually end up going back to South America for a little bit, but long story short, my mum had a heart attack, and for some time afterwards, probably the best part of a few years, she couldn't work. And in that time I started thinking to myself, well, how are we going to make ends meet? I was still living at home at this point, 26 odd years old, and I wanted to help out because I didn't have a job, and I thought that I need to figure out a way that we can create an income stream. And obviously then I started reading about income streams, investments, passive income. How does it work? What is there out there? What asset classes can you invest in? What brings in stable income? That was really important to me, for my parents, is to get a stable income stream. So I did a bunch of research. I went on a bunch of courses, I read a bunch of books, and I spoke to my then girlfriend, Jaina, and we talked about it quite a lot. And eventually we arrived at the conclusion that it would be a good idea for us to invest. Financial security is really important to both of us, and it's something that brought us together in the early days, and we decided that we should invest. But the trouble was that at the time I didn't have a huge amount of money, but Jaina was a successful chemical engineer, and she did have some money. So we did a deal together where we basically used her money to buy the first property, and because I didn't have any money, but what I'd had was a bunch of time because I didn't have a job. So I said to her, we went and did a lot of the research ourselves. We went to lots of different cities ourselves. I remember going to, obviously, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds. We went to Stoke, we went to Nottingham, we went to Liverpool, we went down to the south coast, Brighton, and Portsmouth and that area. I don't think we got across to Wales. We didn't know what was there, so we said we'll leave that. But ultimately, we did a lot of research, and we drove to places on the weekends whenever we got some spare time, and we figured out a model that we wanted to use. And the model was, just buy to let. That's what it was. It was buy a house, do a bit of works to it, and then rent it out. And that's what we started doing. So Jada and I started doing that, and from the first property that we bought, we then bought another property, and very quickly in the first year we bought a number of properties by gathering money from family and friends, and then paying them an interest on that money. And then after we had created, if you think that each property brings about £400 a month, our costs, but my costs specifically, were probably in the region of £400 a month. Because what cost did I have? I was living at home, so there was no rent or anything like that. Food was paid for. The only thing that I really had to pay for was my travel. And quite quickly, we decided that it would be better for me to, rather than going up and down to Leeds every other weekend or every other week, it would be better for me to live in Leeds. And I found out, having been to lots of networking events in Leeds, that you could rent a property, or rent a room actually. That's what I did. I rented a room initially in a HMO, like a student room. And that room was £300 a month. It was an absolute steal, £300 a month. All bills were included. It was a four bedroom house, I think, and I was at the top. It got a really nice view, and there was only 2 or 3 of us living in the house at the time anyway. And actually Mick, who hopefully will watch this, was one of my housemates at that time at the early days, and Mick now lives in one of my houses in Leeds. So win-win there. So I built, doing this, and of course once I moved to Leeds and paid my £300, my costs went up a little bit, but what I found was I had all day, every day, to just be, building my network, growing my understanding of Leeds, and doing all the legwork that I needed to do to be buying properties in Leeds. So I did that for probably the best part of 2 years, and it was relentless. At the time, I used to wake up at 6:30 in the morning. I wasn't really that interested in gym. I wasn't really that interested in anything else except for going out, building relationships, buying houses. Wake up at 6:30, go to bed about 11 o'clock. In the meantime, spend all the time on Rightmove, on Excel, doing deal analysis, going to see agents, having coffee after coffee after coffee. I used to take them all cake, and unfortunately or fortunately I used to have to eat the cake with them. So I used to have lots and lots of cake, and it was a very unhealthy diet. But what it did get me was in front of the right people, and it got me some traction with people and estate agents knowing that I'm in the market to buy. And so when deals did come up, we were the people, I was the person that they contacted. Fast forward to, so we started in about 2013, 2014 time, and then fast forward to 2016 or end of 2015, a friend of mine contacted me on Facebook, and she was a friend that I used to work with in my old company Fujitsu, and she said, oh, we're interested in this property thing, why don't you come and talk to us about it? And I was really excited because I love talking about property at this point. And at the end of 2015 I went to speak to Akash and Samira Desai, and very quickly, Akash is a very charismatic character. He became he said to us, can you buy me a property? I said, yeah, we can buy you a property, no problem. Bought him a property, worked out really well for him. He said, oh, this is fantastic, can we have another one? He had just refinanced his house and he had some money, and he bought another property, and they were working out really well for him. And he said, we should start a business. And I said, what do you mean we should start a business? And I said, I'm quite happy here buying houses for myself. I don't really understand why we want to start a business. And he said that, no, it'd be really good. We can start a business. We can help lots of people in London who, just like you, they don't have this system. They don't have the time to come up to Leeds. And so that's how our business was born. January the 8th, 2016, we started the business. That's when we incorporated. So the business, Lifestyle Property People, is alive because of Akash Desai. I'll say that. Really great guy. And we built a business together between 2016 and January 2019. So exactly 3 years, pretty much. And that business, went through lots of iterations. There was lots of mistakes that we made. There was lots of early clients that, whilst there was mistakes we made, they got in at a much cheaper fee level. We weren't charging a huge amount of money back then. And as well as that, the deals that they got, we were buying properties for £60,000, £70,000, £80,000, which, as some of you will know, is a little bit impossible to achieve now. So we made a bunch of mistakes, but ultimately things worked out, and we managed to secure a number of properties for a number of clients. We managed to do all the right things by getting the reviews out, and we also managed to put those reviews out on social media and get some traction doing that. In fact, I just spoke to somebody this afternoon, and I said, how did you hear about us? They just signed up with us, and they said, I saw one of your posts on Facebook about 3 or 4 years ago. So people take a long time to get to know us, and some of those people from 3 or 4 years ago are still getting in contact with me now saying, I'm interested in investing in property. So we did that for the best part of 3 years, and then unfortunately Akash and I needed to go in different directions. He had a mortgages company at the time, and he needed to focus on his mortgage company. and I wanted to continue with Lifestyle Property People. So that's basically what we did, and we managed to buy them out and continue the business from 2019 onwards. And since then, I also at that point joined a property mastermind group, which some of you will know about having seen these videos, and that helped me to really kind of understand what the challenges that I was facing in my business were, and more importantly to realize that the challenges are not challenges that are unique to me or unique to this business. They're challenges that everybody faces, and that there is a solution around them. There's a way out, and so rather than trying to worry about the challenge that we have right now and how we're why actually that was a question I was asking a lot. Why is this a challenge that we have? Actually more thinking about how can we solve the challenge and move forward. That's the important thing. So from then, where are we now? So this was now 2019. We recruited a new team in 2019 because we were growing, and 2019 to 20 we grew quite a lot, but then actually the real growth came between 20 and 21. So over the last probably 18 months or so, we've seen a huge amount of growth because basically we got really good at marketing. We got really good at putting our content out in front of people that wanted our service. So we always had a great service. The service has never been bad, has never been poor. If you look at all of our Google reviews, if you look at all of our Trustpilot reviews, everything, they're all 5-star reviews. However, saying that, the people who wanted our service just didn't know that we existed. And that's what we started doing really well over the last 18 months, to get our name out there, to do these kind of lives and stuff so people can see who we are, see who I am, see what we do as a company, and then they can get involved, ask questions, what kind of properties, how much do we need to get involved, what kind of returns, all of that kind of stuff. So we did that marketing exercise, and from the marketing exercise came a huge amount of interest, and loads of people wanted to get involved with property. And then the challenge that we had was we had loads of clients, but not enough properties. And that was compounded by the fact that we then had COVID. And during COVID, we signed up a huge number of clients, but there was just very, very few properties out there. And of course, property prices were increasing as well. Anyway, we tried to service our clients as much as possible, and the way that we've always worked is just to try and be as transparent as possible. When things are not working out, so some of the things, one of the main issues that we had was, we had said to people, oh, don't worry, we'll find you a property in March or in April or May or whatever, and we had to go back and say, look, we're really sorry, but COVID has happened, and we didn't know how it was going to impact the business at the time, but now we do know, which is that it's not going to be March. It's probably going to be more like June, because, the properties haven't been coming to the market, and that means that everybody has been delayed. Instead of buying 5 or 6 properties a month, we might have bought 3 or 4 properties a month, or even less in February. Anyway, so that continued a little bit, and we managed to, maintain our transparency all the way along. And then here we are, sort of in 2021 at the moment, and we have the clients. And then we've also managed to improve our team. When I say improve, I mean, get more people in the team, and also get the right people in the team to be able to run the business and to be able to move the business forward. I think at the beginning, we were always in a position where I felt, and I think this is perhaps for lots of businesses, where I felt like I could do the role, and of course, unfortunately, I'm the kind of person that I always overreach. I always I used to tend to, I should say, if I could do something, I would go and do it. And now what I'm doing is trusting the team a lot more to kind of do the things that they need to do to take the business forward. And yesterday I had some feedback from one of our clients who bought 3 properties from us, and there was a couple of challenges. He bought them kind of right in the peak of COVID, and one of the things that he said was, your team have been absolutely fantastic. And he even said, as soon as I stopped talking to you, everything started to become better, and not in a bad way, but ultimately I'm the front of the business. I do the sales in the business, and so I do the sales spiel, if you like. And he said, as soon as I got to talking to the rest of the team that you have, everything was better, the service was better. It was exactly what I wanted from the service. So I think that that's encouraging to know that we've got a great team on board. Now the challenge that we're facing is what to do. We've still got loads of clients. We still haven't got enough stock of properties coming to the market. We're working on a lot of partnerships, and we're working on how we can work with other people in the industry to be able to get those properties to our clients. And then what am I doing personally as well? So in my personal property portfolio, I bought a bunch of properties between 2014 and 2016. I then slowed down quite a lot because I got involved with the business lifestyle property people, and I started heavily focusing on that. And because I was focusing so much on that, I didn't really buy a huge amount for myself in that kind of 16, 17 period. In 17, 18, 18, 19, I bought 1 or 2 properties. I bought some bigger projects that I did with some business partners in Leeds. I did some HMOs and sort of just bigger things. And there was a huge amount of work required there. And, you know, in hindsight, the returns were probably similar. And as a result, I came back to the thinking that single-let properties, so buy-to-let houses, 2 to 3 bedroom houses, are probably what I want to stick to. So then this year I started experimenting, or I started understanding about whether I could buy some more properties for myself. And the challenge that I had was that every property that came to the market, I've just said to you that there's been a shortage of properties on the market, but every property that came to the market, I had the option of either buying it myself or giving it to a client. Unfortunately, clients take precedent in these kind of situations, especially if we're running behind schedule. And so I was unable to kind of secure properties for myself. And the only way that I could secure properties for myself is if I, which eventually I did, I decided to move cities. So I decided to up myself from Leeds, go to another city, and start to build the entire framework, the whole infrastructure again, so that I could buy my own property portfolio in that city. And of course, what that then does is it starts the ball rolling for our clients to also, for us, or I should say for us to provide that service in that other city as well, or in those other cities. So I think that that's what it's done for us. Hopefully those other cities will be live in the next kind of year, 2 years. It does take some time because I'm always a big believer that I need to go and do it myself before I can, you know, sell it to one of our clients. I need to test it myself. My properties need to be the guinea pig, and I need to understand whether it's going to work, and if I'm going to lose anyone's money, it's going to be my money, because then I'll be able to sleep at night, and then I'll know, okay, well, I've done it, and therefore I can offer it to clients confident that it's going to work out. So that's what we're doing right now. I hope that's been useful. I know it does seem like I've been talking for a long time, and for the people that are watching, I hope that's been insightful for you as to what my property journey has been like, and how we've been sort of building the business, and how I've been purchasing properties myself as well at the same time. And like I said, you know, I'm a very big believer now that buy-to-let properties, and, you know, buy something, rent it out for the long term, buy a good quality property is the way to go. And those are the properties that are going to increase in value. Those are the properties that the rents are going to increase. They're always going to be in demand. There's not going to be a huge amount of hassle. And as a passive income, I just think that there is no better strategy in the property world. So there we are. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to know about anything else, if you want me to do a video and anything, please drop me a message. Let me know. If you've got any questions at all that you want answering, drop me a message, let me know, and I will do a video on it. Thanks for listening, and speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.